Welcome, everyone, to the Aging and Spirituality podcast. Today, we have a fascinating conversation planned for you. This is likely going to be a subject that most people have never heard about before. We're going to be talking about something called scalar energy and scalar light. In terms of, if these terms are unfamiliar to you, don't worry, because all will be revealed. This whole subject of scalar energy and what Tom calls what he does scalar light is something that's going to change, I believe, after doing a few days of intense researching on this subject and really listening and watching a lot of Tom's videos. It's going to change how the world works and how people can heal themselves. So it's a really rich topic, a very deep topic. And because we're focusing on aging and spirituality, we're going to probably put most of our time and attention, not on the scientific part, which is an amazing rabbit hole to go down. You have to go learn about it. But we'll be talking about, how the scalar light technology can really help us heal long-held viruses and bacteria, other pathogens in the body. So that these are the things that create disease for us. So this is really, really fascinating. Thank you for being here. We are so genuinely happy to have you for this next hour. I'm going to give just a brief intro so our listeners know who you are. Tom Paladino, I'm saying that right. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just in case there's some odd inflection there that I didn't know about. So Tom considers himself a scalar energy researcher, and he's got about 25 years of experience helping people with pathogenic infections. His scalar energy work began when he was in graduate years, inspired by several scientists, but the most prominent that you'll know the name of is Nikola Tesla, who lived between 56 through 1943, and Galen Hieronymus, who was actually the fellow that I think you credit as the engineer of the scalar device.
Yes.
Scalar device. So, which is what Tom works with, a scalar device. He studied the existence of a second type of energy, not electromagnetic, and it's called scalar energy. It's also called zero-point energy. So Tom was really trying to understand what this energy was all about. And after years of experimenting, he's developed a scalar energy protocol that is delivered by instruments he's created. And they actually transmute pathogens painlessly, quickly. Like when you first hear this stuff, your head's just going to go, what? What is he talking about? But it really is fascinating. One of the quotes that I can say Tom said was, scalar light is going to change the world. It will have a greater impact on mankind than a computer. And boy, that is not, it's true. I mean, it's going to be amazing. So just upfront, his website, in case you're already wanting to look, scalarlight.com. We'll put that in the show notes and we'll remind you at the end of the show as well. So again, Tom, there's an intro. Thank you for being here. We're really thrilled to have you. We're going to start off with a question that I came up with this one here. Let's see. We want to know more about how you came into your profession. So, I understand that studying Nikola Tesla, all of that in school was how you began, but give us a brief understanding of how your life became devoted to the scientific journey. And was this really an inner calling for you? What was happening there?
Thank you for the invitation.
You're so welcome.
Kathy, Chris. To answer your question, yes, it's an inner calling. Why? I see what this technology means and what it can do for mankind. It's incredible. Scalar technology, what this means to change the course of human history for the better. How did I get into this? Nikola Tesla fired my imagination. He really piqued my curiosity at a young age. And I looked at his inventions, and later in his life, Tesla was not using any wires. All of his inventions were wireless, which was free energy. If you can send energy at a distance, and he did so, and he wasn't using a power plant. So he was tapping into the free energy of the universe and then sending that free energy anywhere in the world. That really served to fire my imagination. And to a minor extent, that's what I'm doing today. I can send energy anywhere in the world. I don't need an infrastructure. My instrument does not rely upon satellites and substations and pulleys and chimney stacks and motors. I can broadcast this energy anywhere in the solar system, for that matter.
Yeah.
So what are we getting at? This is a new science in which we can take the energy of the sun and the stars, harness it, and broadcast it, deliver it anywhere.
If you're going to compare it to Wi-Fi, how is that different?
Yeah, good point. Wi-Fi, we still need a computer, and you still need satellites, and you still need some type of infrastructure.
Right.
Well, with scalar energy, it's the air, or what Tesla called the ether, which is the medium of the universe.
Right.
So instead of using low Earth orbiting satellites or cell phones or cell phone towers or some type of relay station, some type of information system, you just use the atmosphere, which makes so much more sense to me. It's free, it's everywhere. You don't have to build it, you don't have to maintain it. Why not use the ether?
Yes, well, there's a very long story behind why not, because people want to make money that have the current system in place, and what you're talking about is free energy. So we're not going to go down that one, but listeners, you want to figure that out and actually look at that and discover what's going on there.
That was actually Tesla's goal, to make it free for people, and that's why he got such a hard time from Westinghouse and other companies. He actually, Kathy and I have done yoga for years, and Tesla became friends with a very well-known yogi, Swami Vivekananda.
Yes.
And Vivekananda told him, don't do it for money, do it for the good of mankind. And that's what he was trying to do. So it's interesting that, you want to continue that work. And can you tell us just a little bit about how scalar energy was discovered and how you gather and store it in your instruments?
We've known about this for millennia. It's chi, prana, 0-point energy. Some people call it pyramid energy, life force energy. Swami Vivekananda mentioned that it was whirling. There were small vortices, and that's what scalar energy is. It's a rotating vertical force field. And Vivekananda and Tesla had a correspondence. They shared their thoughts, and Vivekananda's right. He's right on the mark. This is the energy of the universe, and it doesn't move like a wave. It actually is a double helix that rotates. Well, what's the point here? It's not electricity. So this energy pervades the universe. It's everywhere. Why? Because the sun and the stars create this. Remember I said the infrastructure is free? I mean it. The sun and the stars are free. They give off this free energy, scalar energy. We can access it anywhere. Then you can rebroadcast it or redirect it through the ether, which is free. Now, that sounds like free energy to me. Why aren't we using this? Someday we will. And when we do, we'll no longer have the energy constraints. We'll no longer spend a great deal of money for energy generation because the stars generate our energy.
Wow, I can't wait for that day. That actually segues into a question when you're talking about Vivekananda. I was thinking about how is this the same thing you would describe as the etheric realm?
Yes.
Can you expound on that idea? The quantum field, how do they all fit together?
Good point. Let's define our terms. Scalar energy is not electricity. Scalar energy is non-physical energy, and it originates from the sun and the stars. So this is not electricity. It's not magnetism. What's non-physical? It has to be information. It has to be intelligence. That's what I've tapped into, the consciousness of the universe.
Okay.
Scalar energy is consciousness from the sun and the stars.
Right.
It's not an electron. It's not a proton. It has no physical mass. It's non-physical.
You're actually saying it's the God consciousness. And
yes.
It's interesting because, and I'm just going to take a little segue here. I don't know if you recognize my face, but I am on day 3 of your protocol. And here's the interesting thing. I kind of been tuning into Akashic record energy and that what that vibration feels like, how that downloads. And honestly, the vibration I've been experiencing from your work is very similar. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, because it is consciousness. It is prayer.
Okay.
Scalar energies is a form of prayer. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And
Okay.
this is what I find so intriguing. We finally now have the ability to tap into consciousness, to tap into what some people call the Holy Spirit or the mind of God.
Right.
That's so important. So this is the perfect information system. This is why computers and all of the advances that we've made with computers still have to be programmed, and it's still reliant upon human endeavor. My energy is divine energy dependent upon divine action. I'd much rather work with a scalar energy information system than a computer information system.
Wow, me too.
So there was a study that the CIA published some years ago about scalar energy, and they said that the Tesla watch was a scalar generator, but they didn't have any specific results from it. And what do you think about that? I mean,
Define the Tesla watch. What do you mean by that?
there's something called the Tesla watch that
Okay.
you can still buy it now online.
Okay.
It works apparently they say on scalar energy.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that
Yeah,
process.
me neither.
I just I can't elaborate on that.
Okay.
I will say that what I've noticed with scalar energy, if you're in a strong scalar energy force field, your wristwatch will not advance because scalar energy does not observe time. Scalar energy is outside of time and space. There was a great Russian scientist, his name was Grebenikov, Viktor Grebenikov, and he created an anti-gravity scalar platform. And when he was on his scalar energy platform, his wristwatch would never advance. Time would stand still in a perfect scalar energy force field. So if that's in any way related, I don't know. But what I find fascinating is time did not advance while this man Grebenikov was working with high-powered scalar energy instruments.
Wow, yeah, that's fascinating, and doesn't actually surprise me. I'm wondering about your device. I mean, I'm trying to imagine this. I am not a scientist, so forgive me, but I'm trying to figure out, how do you capture scalar energy with your instruments?
Yes.
There's photographs of my instrument on the website. This is one of the instruments. And the key is you simply have to tap into nature. See, with all of my work, I always pride myself in following nature. This instrument is a miniature star, and I can capture star energy. I'm not creating electricity with this. That's the key to this invention. So I want to make this very clear. I'm not in the electromagnetic spectrum. I'm in a different dimension, a different spectrum of energy. Right. And this is what Tesla found later in his life. He was working with this scalar dimension, which is not electricity. So we never create the energy pre-exists. Now, in particular, this instrument can take an electrical current, household electrical current, and transform it, transmute it into scalar energy. So it seems that electricity can be converted to scalar, and scalar can be converted back into electricity. What is my point? They're two distinct dimensions, but they both are real, and they both have applications.
So tell us a little bit about how your scalar generator and your work helps to heal people and helps them overcome diseases and issues.
These instruments are so strong, I believe they have a direct interface with our mind, our conscious and subconscious thoughts. So I mentioned that scalar energy is consciousness. It is, and it has a profound influence upon our brain waves and our 7 chakras, or just our thinking in general, our creativity. So with that in mind, scalar energy is the new pathway to mental health. We're not going to use drugs. We're not going to use any type of surgery. We're simply going to reprogram the mind and the chakras with consciousness, with scalar light. That's one of the first things I've noticed when I'm working with people. Within the first 2 or 3 days, their dreams are enhanced. They have a sense of calm and tranquility. Many people say they can give up an addiction, or they're no longer hold on to phobias, fears. Well, that's the calming work. That's the calming action of scalar energy. Action upon the mind, the brain, the 7 chakras, non-physical action that changes our disposition.
Wow. So, I mean, have you got any case studies going on that are with people that have mental illness, like bipolar, that kind of thing? Does that?
No, I don't have case studies because academia has not accepted my work. So I don't have any clinic that wants to work with me. I don't have any. I do have a clinic actually in Delhi, India. They're having great success with HIV, but I have no clinic right now working with me along the lines of mental illness.
Yeah.
I wish I did.
I bet you do.
I think I could prove something.
What about physical illnesses?
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What about physical illnesses?
I have developed a technique, and I think I've perfected it, whereby the instrument can identify a microbe, a bacterium, a fungus, and easily break down, disassemble, eradicate that bacterium or fungus. I'll explain this in practice. If I were to take a photograph of a microbe, this is Streptococcus mutans, associated with our oral hygiene. And sometimes strep mutans causes gingivitis. I could actually place this photograph inside a scalar energy instrument. Now, remember, everything I do is by way of information. This is not a biological process.
Right.
So the instrument would read Streptococcus as far as its energy signature, and then redirect that energy into a person. And in so doing, scalar energy, working through this paradigm of scalar energy, would send the signal of Streptococcus mutants into me and would identify strep mutants and destroy it. So a photograph of a microbe allows me to eradicate that microbe. That's how straightforward this is. Why? Because this is universal intelligence, and the universal intelligence on this photograph can find the universal intelligence of strep mutants in me and eradicate, transmute Streptococcus mutants.
So that really begs the question, you're talking about, you take the photo, going through this process. I'm trying to understand what's happening here. You take the photo, you combine it with the pathogen, you put it in, don't laugh at me, you put it in the machine, right? And then somehow it knows on an information level how to break the molecular bonds down.
Exactly.
Exactly. But how do you work with information versus biology? I mean, it's like, how does that work?
Well, if there's 2 energies, then there's 2 outcomes. If you have scalar energy and you have electricity, then you can have a scalar outcome, you can have an electromagnetic outcome. Now, keep in mind, I work at the etheric level, not at the biological level.
Right.
So if this represents a bacterium, it's held together by etheric forces.
Right.
And if I can negate those etheric forces, which are non-physical, the bacterium falls apart. So it's not a chemical process.
Right.
I release the intelligence, I negate the intelligence of Streptococcus mutants, and the bacterium falls apart.
So it's really not that different than, like, if somebody says, oh, I'm going to do Reiki on you and I'm going to, send energy towards you and I'm just going to take that little disease you got and throw it away. Same thing, right? It's the same kind of idea.
Right. When people with healing hands, those are scalar energy hands. You're absolutely right.
Yes,
People can impart scalar energy. Another aspect of scalar energy is dowsing or clairvoyance.
Yes.
Some people by prayer or meditation can heal. So that's the realm that I'm working in. It's non-physical spirit energy.
So how does this compare? Like, I've studied a lot about quantum things and quantum computing. So tell us about quantum healing. I mean, how does this relate in a way that people can easily understand?
Okay. Everything has an intelligence behind it. The biology of the body is at the lower end. What supersedes that are instructions or intelligence. I work at the etheric realm, the realm of instructions or intelligence. And what happens is subsequently it finds its way to the biological realm.
Mm.
So I don't want to work at the chemical level, at the biological level. I want to work at the level above that that instructs it. You take a computer, for instance. My computer is sitting on my desk right now. Well, somebody had to program that computer. So the programming is the intelligence of the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then the physical screen, I can see both of you on my screen. That's a physical result, a physical manifestation. But nonetheless, it took a lot of computer intelligence, computer programming to provide our physical screen.
Is it fair to say that your instrument is like a receptor for this consciousness, this scalar energy, and literally you're by holding that space, that sphere, you put that photo in there, you put the picture of the pathogen, they do naturally just do their thing. It is like
Exactly.
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 Wild.
Amazing.
Now, you see the point here. I'm not the operator. Many people say, Tom, what did you do? And I say, I did not do anything. I instructed my instrument. The scalar action is from the instrument. It's not me.
Right.
So, keep in mind, we're having a Zoom call. Obviously, you're not in my office.
Right.
When people send me their photograph is their image. I see your images on my computer. Obviously, Chris and Kathy are not on my computer. It's your image. My image is placed inside the instrument. Okay. I'm not inside my instrument, my image is. And my instrument can pick up my image, find my etheric image, and send energy instructions to my image.
Wow.
So we have to assume that's based on the world is naturally whole. So it's going to do what it's going to do just on a natural, but does that make sense? Like, how does it know informationally to balance out that pathogen, to break those molecules? Because it's trying to get back to wholeness.
Yes, and that's the knowledge of scalar energy. It not only can find a scalar energy intelligence, can find my force field. And this instrument is designed to break down what I call reverse phase, transmute a germ, a microbe. And keep in mind, all I have to do is introduce into the instrument a photograph of a microbe, and that information is sent to me in my quantum field. That's all it takes. There's no interpretation on my part. So I say this, the instrument, the energy is self-directed, it's auto-directed. Okay. This is divine intelligence. You don't tell the divine what to do. God knows what to do. I literally just turn my instrument on and it does the work. Just sort of like your car. You don't perform any physical work. You sit down and you instruct your car. I instruct my instrument.
I was feeling bad for you trying to explain this from a scientific point of view, but now that I know you have to take on divine consciousness, I really feel holy moly, that's like no easy task, no at all. Wow.
Okay, our listeners, they're mostly over 60. And so can you give us some examples of some of the kinds of ailments? I mean, I'm assuming this can help with mostly anything, but maybe some things that you've worked with people so they have a very tangible example of that.
Okay, going back to the fact that we can disassemble or eradicate microbes, that helps people with arthritis. Many people are infected with bacteria or viruses or parasites, and that hurts their range of motion. If you can eliminate those microbes, then you have greater dexterity. You can move. You have greater range of motion. Many people say that they've been infected with years with the herpes virus or other viruses. These viruses eventually can find their way to the brain, past the blood-brain barrier, and promote neurological impairment. So when you really look at microbes, pathogens, and you see the thousands of diseases that they're either directly or indirectly associated with, this is why I came out with this protocol. It's pertinent to get rid of germs, pathogens, Why? We are the host. And these germs, these microbes live off of us. They cause disease, they cause discomfort. So many people that sign up for my program say within the first week or two, they see a greater zest for life, more energy, that they don't have the arthritic conditions that they once had. If you can remove those pathogens that are the underlying cause of hundreds of disease conditions, thousands of disease conditions, that helps everybody.
Here's how I'm seeing it. It's like we cause the diseases by how we think. So you're basically saying, well, I'm gonna give you a tool, a way to come in and just wipe the information slate clean, and it can eliminate this stuff, which is really amazing.
Exactly. The information that is imparted, the information from the instrument will negate the information of Streptococcus mutans, one of the main causes of gingivitis.
Wow.
And by the way, as you know, oral health eventually translates into heart health.
Yeah.
What you eat and what's infecting your gums eventually finds its way to your arteries, to your heart. Anyway, long story short, it's all informational.
Right.
Now, why is this so important? Well, 200 years ago, if you wanted to deliver a letter, you'd have to get on a horse and buggy.
Mhm.
Now we have email in which you're sending information instantaneously. Well, consider my instrument like an email. We're not working with biology. You don't have to be physically present. I can email the information, so to speak, of Streptococcus mutants into a person.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a protocol. How does this work? Does a person have to do it many times? I mean, are some people more receptive than others, so it takes them longer?
Everybody's unique because everybody has unique environment or variables to work by. So how do we get around this? In order for me to introduce this, I give away 15 days of free sessions. My work is unique. My instruments are unique. I don't know of anybody who's ever duplicated my work. Now, with that in mind, I have to give away 15 days of free sessions. And I want to, because I want people to feel relaxed and to prove it to themselves that this works. I don't blame people. It's never been done before, and people they're cautious. So if I can offer everybody in the world 15 days of free sessions, sooner or later this will make its way into the mainstream. Sooner or later people will say, there's something here. I tried these 15 days and I feel better. We have to develop a grassroots movement. That's the key.
That is the key. So I'm on day 3 of your protocol. So I'm thinking to myself, how long does this last? Like, I get to day 15, then what happens? Do I have to keep doing this every month? Does what I think, as it's being balanced and becoming whole, is it coming back? Am I, like what happens?
Yeah, after 15 days, that's up to people. If they want to go on, we have inexpensive rates. We have one rate of $89 a month. The key is people have to make that decision themselves.
Right.
Now, this is not a medical device. I'm not working with Western medicine. Right. This has never been, it's an informational device. And because this is so cutting edge, I cannot predict exactly how everybody's going to feel.
Right.
So I have to allow people to develop the narrative. I mean every word of that. This has to be grassroots, and each individual has to make that decision, adjudicate whether it's been favorable.
It's kind of like I work as a life coach offline here, but I'm not doing this. And I'm thinking to myself, it's probably predicated by how badly they want to let go. Like somebody can come into me and tell me that they're ready to transform, and I can look at them and go, you are not. You have way too many things that you're holding on to, and the fear level is too high. And so you're basically saying, well, I just walk around back door, all of that stuff, and I'll take care of this for you. But then you have to keep, if you stay on the protocol, are you good, or all this stuff just keeps coming back? It depends on how tenacious you are and don't want to live a whole life, I guess.
Yeah, that speaking to that point, we should live a holistic lifestyle. I want to encourage people to eat well, to sleep, get 7-8 hours of sleep every night, to relax, to enjoy life. to have a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah,
Well, my approach is like yours. There's only so much we can do. People have to
right.
participate in their health.
That's absolutely true because, I mean, we look at the people that we've taught. Chris has been a yoga teacher since early '80s, and you know, and I teach meditation, and we look at the people that come in, and so many of them that fall off. Well, there's a certain percentage of people though that are going to really take to this particular protocol just like ducks to water. I mean, why wouldn't
It's easy. And I don't mean to be snide, but what's so difficult about emailing me a photograph?
not
Yeah,
hard.
that's
I-
great. We know it's very much like, I think, the concept we have in yoga of mental equivalence, because whatever you think, you know, on a consistent basis is what you're going to bring about into your experience. And
Yes.
so I think this is kind of working in that same direction, because the people who are receptive, they're changing their mental equivalent about it, you know.
They're participating. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they do have to participate. I mean, you can only do so much. You ideally would need to partner up with people that can do the educational part of this, you know, for people like for example, you say that, you know, you can take these how do I say this? You can use scalar light to create optimal fields of health through the molecular bonds of nutrients like vitamins and
Yes.
minerals and amino acids. I mean, that's a whole other level going on right there.
I'll explain that. Once again, I do not do the thinking. Scalar light is the grand thinking.
Yep.
It's God's energy. This is beta carotene. If I wanted to assemble beta carotene, I would actually take this photograph and place it right next to my photograph in the instrument. Now, keep in mind, all of my work is informational. It's not chemical. The energy, the etheric energy from beta carotene would download into my etheric plane, and I would start assembling beta carotene through instructions.
It's amazing. Yeah. Well, I think
It's amazing.
it's something people have to experience to
Yes.
really grasp. Yeah.
Yes. I am 63 years of age,
Mhm.
and I don't take any special type of vitamin regimen, etc. I eat well. I will say that this has kept me young, this process. I treat myself every day.
Oh, wow.
And free from disease.
Wow.
I feel very good, vibrant at age 63.
Yeah. Well, you don't look 63 from
No?
the beginning, and you look very vibrant. That's for sure,
Yes.
and very healthy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I can be a case study if you want. I volunteer.
You see how simple this is. I can't underscore this enough.
Yeah.
When you work with energy, energy's fundamental. Light does not make a mistake. Light never makes a mistake. So my instrument is a scalar light instrument. This instrument does not make a mistake. If I tell it to break apart a germ, a microbe, it will do so. If I ask this instrument to assemble beta carotene, it will do so. It's as dependable as the electricity in your home.
Yeah.
Light does not make a mistake.
Yeah. That's awesome.
For anything you want our listeners to know that we haven't covered.
I always like to leave people this encouragement. The human mind and the human heart function by way of scalar light. Scalar energy, this universal intelligence, animates our mind, our brain. It animates our heart, our emotions. So what I've tapped into is the life force of the universe. I do this with the instrument, but people can do this actually to a greater extent with their mind and their heart. So there is a credence to what I'm saying. This is the life force of the universe.
Yes.
What I can do through engineering, people can do automatically through their mind and their heart. So I would encourage people, live every day to the fullest and think well and feel well. That's the key to life.
You know, it occurs to me, Chris, that we both are long time meditators, twice a day for over 40 years. It occurs to me, you know, that when we're sitting there meditating, we're really kind of holding that space for what you're calling scalar energy, you know, and it is having the same effects on our bodies and our life and our energy.
Such a
It's kind of like that.
People do it every day. You can call it positive affirmations, goal setting, prayer, meditation. All of that are scalar instructions.
Right.
Now we see the science behind positive thinking. Now we see the science, what some people call the law of attraction or the law of unity, call it what you will. There is an energy form. It's scalar energy that drives that.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Everybody that is out there listening, please go try the 15-day trial. What have you got to lose? Holy moly. You got to feel this. I'm on day 3, but I'll send Tom my testimonial at the end of day 15. I'm sure we'll talk again. I can already feel it starting to work, and I think it's amazing. I would love to keep our conversation going, but it's really fascinating. Thank you for being here. Really, really. I haven't been so excited about, discovering something new in a very long time.
Yeah, it's very exciting to me too, because like I said, I've been fascinated by all kinds of quantum possibilities and Tesla, and this makes it so tangible and concrete. So I probably will be trying it too, and I'll be happy to be a case study if I do too.
And it's starting an interesting conversation in the world, that's for sure, that we'll be happy to help you with.
Yes.
Please, it's all grassroots. I'm one inventor, I'm one researcher. This is the problem. This is the bottleneck that I'm experiencing. I don't have time to perform podcasts, or I don't have the money to travel or to advertise. So I have to do it all by word of mouth. Thank you for this podcast. Thank you for seeing the big picture here, the gigantic picture. Thank you.
Yeah. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Everyone go to scalarlight.com, get signed up. Thank you for coming, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Great day.
I will. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.